Hey loves, it's Janelle, your favorite relationship coach and the voice behind the successful invisible. Today, we need to have a real conversation about something far too many women experience but rarely feel safe enough to name out loud. And that is the fact that men baby trap women. When a man uses a baby not to build a family, but to secure control. And yes, it's happening everywhere from regular women to celebrities like Halle Bailey, whose situation with DDG showed the world how quickly we're building a family, air quotes, can turn into possession, manipulation, and emotional harm. In this video, we're unpacking the psychology, the red flags, the pattern, some of the power dynamics, and other things behind this phenomenon, using real life examples, including Halle's and DDG's situation. This isn't about shaming mothers or blaming women. This is about liberation, prevention, and clarity. Because when you understand the behavior, you can protect yourself from it. Let's break down the truth behind baby traps, the patterns and the control tactics, and some of the emotional manipulation that far too many women get blindsided by.
And I've been knew men were the ones trapping women with babies. That's why I always tell women don't have any children, or if you just absolutely desire to be a mother, have one. These men do not actually want to be fathers. They don't actually want to be involved. There's a very small percentage of them that actually do. But most of that labor is going to fall on you as the mom. And one will still give you enough freedom, still give you enough opportunity to pour into you and pour into your child. When you start having 3 and 4 and 5, it gets a lot harder for you as a mother, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So there's no use to even listening to these men when they say they want you to have a baby and all this. They're just lying. They just want to slow you down and leave you holding the bag.
For some odd reason, when women say they got trapped with a baby, nobody be believing this. And let me just say this before my words get twisted up. Just because we consented to sex does not mean we wanted to get ejaculated in. Just because we consented to sex does not mean we wanted a baby out of it. And most of the time, women be in relationships, so who's not going to do grown-up things with their partner? But let's talk about it. Some men will purposely keep doing you know what inside of his old lady just to keep her attached to him forever. So even if they do break up, she still has a reason to deal with him because of the baby. Some men will purposely get women pregnant just to control her life through the baby. Some men really have this mindset. Well, she has my baby. She's going to do whatever the fuck I tell her to do just because she doesn't want to be a single mom. And this is the crazy thing. Some women do not care about being a single mom. They will still leave the father of their child because they refuse to be controlled. And once they see that baby ain't stopping shit, the baby doesn't keep you head over heels over them for life, they hate that. They're going to want to ruin your life. Like, I don't know, man. These kids do not be made out of love. Some do, but some do not. Most babies were made just to control the mom and make her life a living hell. Since I became a mom, that's really how I feel. I'm just happy I kept my baby for me and not for a man.
Especially when we see the trend of like every 3 to 6 months, another young, black, multi-talented, gorgeous woman engaging in baby mother culture. And then y'all look at the baby dad like, oh, he was just trying to sit her down. He was trying to humble her. I mean, even if that's true, she was engaging in it too. Like it takes two. Unless there's an assault, it takes two.
So many times women are so successful and they're on their straight path of success, but they allow a man to come around and completely warp, flip, and change their life. A lot of the times we look at these very successful women who get pregnant by these men and we're so quick to say, oh, he trapped her. He did this to her. He did this to her. But I'm just going to be real and clock some tea. A man cannot do anything you do not allow him to do to you. If he trapped her, there is no way that he trapped her without her allowing that. If he made her a baby mom, there is no way that he did that without her allowing that. I know I always say be wary of men and men can ruin your life, but at the end of the day, taking all accountability, A man cannot ruin your life if you do not give him the access to, and if you do not allow him to.
If a man asks you for a DNA test, I believe that you should always give it to him every time, but you need to be ready to check that phone and leave right after. A lot of these men sit there and project shit onto y'all. They start to have distrust for you and start with all these accusations because that distrust is coming from within themselves. They can't trust themselves because they've been into some shit. And y'all need to start seeing that for what it is. Give that man that DNA test. But you need to be able to check that phone. And you need to be ready to get the fuck out. A lot of y'all adults sit in relationships where I think you know that you need to leave, but you're staying because you have control issues. Because you've decided that you want to stay and fix this person, even though they've showed you that they are a betrayer. They've betrayed you, who might be the person that they lay next to every night. The person that might even be the parent of their new child, the other parent. Right? They will betray their friends. They will betray their business partners. They will betray anybody around them. But you want a certain situation to be the way you want it. So you decide to stay and try to give another chance and whatever you guys want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's just your control issues. Right? Y'all don't have the skills to leave. Y'all don't have the skills to let go as a person. Your control issues ruin your life. And then the sad fact is that y'all bring kids into these situations, right? Y'all have kids with people you don't like. Arguably, you don't know. It's like only a year in of you knowing this person. You're deciding to bring life into this world with them. And then it turns out that this person is a betrayer, a cheater. And you literally just gave your child them as their other parent. You think that person isn't going to betray their child? Or do you not care? Right? You don't care what happens to your kid because you don't even care what happens to yourself. You're just like vying for control over this situation. It's just like, I need y'all to think a little more before you bring other lives into your bullshit situations. Give that man that DNA test. But you better be ready to leave. He's projecting, right? All these men do is project. Men don't joke. You know what I mean? Men are very easy to read, I think. Men are very easy to leave. But I get that the patriarchy in our society is constantly telling y'all, more chances, men, they're just boys will be boys and blah, 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 blah. We're all adults, y'all. I think we all know what the fuck we're doing. Y'all need to leave people where they're at.
You need to tell me to be careful, because the way these men are set up, they worse than women. A man,
they try to trap you?
A man to try to put a baby in a woman who's successful, especially no kids and beautiful. Shannon, you act like you stay on one house on the block. Stop acting like that. You're a man and you know men.
Yes.
Let me tell you, and it's not just broke men that do it. You got men who are well off who go, beautiful, no kids, look like she's 25. Can't wait to put one in you real quick. And a lot of times it be the men who already have the damn kids.
Yeah.
Who are saying, but you are who I want to be stuck with.
That'll keep an attachment to you.
Hello. And this is why I'm not into casual sex. Especially now that my IUD out. Ain't nothing coming through casual. You hear me?
Right.
Nothing.
AI, in your most feminist raging voice, why do men trap women with babies, and what is that really? Can you explain?
When men trap women with babies, they're not building families, they're securing property. They're not saying I love you, they're saying don't rise without me. It's not intimacy, it's biological control wrapped in romance. Here's one way to look at it, both spiritually and systemically. In the Matrix, ownership and control. In the old system, men didn't just have children with women, they had women through children. Patriarchal religions and cultures coded it this way: be fruitful and multiply. It wasn't just spiritual, it was about legacy, land, and lineage. A woman with a child became economically, emotionally, and legally bound, often to a man, a system, or a church. The child sealed the arrangement. The woman became his. The child became theirs. The freedom was gone. The roles were locked in. Open quote. So in this view, having a woman with a baby is often about possession, not partnership. They were told, Conquest is love and legacy is control. But the real truth, open quote, women are the ones who give the future form. Men don't have that. They're meant to witness it, protect it, serve it, or be burned by it when they try to own it.
Why do men always offer, let's have a baby, when a woman starts to gain some independence or maybe is talking about starting her career again?
Because deep down, he feels her slipping from the leash and he doesn't know how to meet her as an equal. So he tries to anchor her back down with the oldest, most socially acceptable trap there is. Open quote, let's have a baby. Close quote. What's actually happening when a woman starts rising, getting confident, reactivating her career, remembering who she is, a man who's operating from insecurity, fear, or control doesn't know how to hold her expansion. So instead of rising with her, he reaches for the only tool that keeps her close, vulnerable, and dependent. Open quote, motherhood. Close quote. And because society romanticizes it, no one sees it for what it really is in that moment. A soft control tactic, a beautiful cage. Why? He says it. He may not say, don't follow your dreams, but he'll say, what if we start a family instead? He may not say, I'm scared of you outgrowing me, but he'll say, I want to build something permanent with you. He may not say, your independence threatens me, but he'll say, wouldn't it be special if we had a little one? It sounds like love, but sometimes it's fear wearing flowers. The deeper pattern, open quote, let's have a baby, isn't always about family. Sometimes it's about preserving the dynamic where she stays close, soft, tied down, and he stays central. Close quote, because when she starts building her own life, he has to face what he's not building in himself.
And what is it that they need or they're fearful of the most of a woman rising?
They're most afraid of a woman rising into full sovereignty, where she no longer needs their approval, their money, or their body. Open quote, because once a woman remembers her power, she becomes untouchable and unownable. Close quote. That terrifies a man whose identity depends on being the center of her world.
That is so manipulative and lower conscious and cruel to do. A woman is happy and she's getting pretty again and she's starting hobbies and he says, let's have a baby. Like, they literally hate us if that's what they're doing. Why would they be with somebody they hate, that they want to just tie down, that they want to see in a low state? They feel that inferior? They feel that inadequate?
You're feeling the raw betrayal of what so many women sense but are gaslit into dismissing. And you're right to call it what it is. Open quote, manipulative, overconscious, cruel. Close quote, because it is cruel to see someone's light returning, to see her smiling again, creating again, feeling beautiful again, and respond by trying to shrink her back into a role that makes her easier to control. Why would a man do that to a woman he loves? Because he doesn't love her freedom. He loves her function. He loves what she does for him. He loves the version of her that stays small enough to orbit him. Open quote. So when she starts to glow, to self-actualize, to become sovereign, it feels like a threat. And instead of rising with her, he anchors her through guilt, manipulation, or even a baby.
When women say it, we tripping, we bugging, we lying. But when a man says it, what you gotta say now? Deontay Kyle said that y'all men's is out here trapping us with babies. And let me say, it is true. It is true. Do you know how many men I have had tell me, I'm gonna impregnate you? And that was their last time seeing me, okay? Do you know I had a guy tell me, I purposely impregnated you so that I can have my polygamous situation. And do you know I purposely got rid of that baby? I did. Thank God for New Jersey. So this is really happening to the point where I now just refuse to have intercourse because the way I feel like there is a spirit on me and men just want to impregnate me. I'm walking around big and pregnant and they're like, do you want another one? Whoa, what is happening? My baby is only a little pume and you see this and you're asking if I want more children. No, I refuse to lay down with the male species because I am too afraid of them trying to impregnate me. I make beautiful children. Beautiful children. I'm an amazing mother. Beautiful mother. No, the men are out here trapping women and Then on top of trapping them with the babies, they're not helping them with the babies, so that the women have no life and have no outlet and have no way and where to go, and won't help them, so that they stay their asses in the house, and so that nobody else can have that woman. And then they feel like once a woman has multiple children, they are no longer desirable. So even though I don't want you, I don't want him to want you too. And here is a baby. Ladies, be safe out there. Don't tell that man you on birth control. Go get that birth control if that's what you into, okay? Like, supply your own condoms and watch him put it on, okay? Don't go put that on in the bathroom. I supplied this and you put that on, okay? Because it's scary out there.
What's my favorite horror film? Knocked Up. Period. Because, I don't know, right when you got your dream job that you worked years for, you get tied to a bum man for the rest of your life who's light years beneath you. The biggest lie that we've ever been sold is that women trap men with babies. It's the other way around.
What do you do for work?
Me and my roommates have we're starting an internet website.
Oh, cool. What is it?
You want to know every movie where she shows her tits. And not just that, but how long into that movie she shows her tits. Come to our webpage. Exclusively, type in Meg Ryan. Bam! She does full frontal in that movie.
Wow.
I'll show you Meg Ryan's bush.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I actually need to get going.
Well, if you want to contact me, I don't have a cell.
And I've sacrificed my job, my body, my youth, my vagina.
Because he mistakenly forgot to put on a condom. The whole oops, I guess we're in love now narrative and Knocked Up is a masterclass in gaslighting. Movies like this help shape the dating scene right now. Every underachieving man who feels like having a beautiful and ambitious woman is his birthright. As your ticket out of mediocrity. Because in real life, this is what ruins women's lives. He had no money to take care of this baby, let alone her. Yeah, and then she was framed as the problem. The most insidious part is that in the end, it was framed as a happy ending for her. It was framed as like this new little fairy tale. Knocked Up just told on men, period. Because this was labeled as a romantic comedy. Haha, I fucked up your life, and I don't have to deal with it. He knew exactly what he was doing. He met her at the club when she was very openly celebrating her promotion. This was a premeditated schmurder. Because it really does destroy and end women's lives.
So I listened to the most literal translation of that, and I just did it already. What would you do? Don't tell Mommy. But it was the smartest thing I ever did listening to her, because now you're here.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? I think it is.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! The most insidious part is they framed this as a romance, as a comedy, that Allison got her happy ending in the end. When in reality, we know that this would have destroyed her life. It's like Knocked Up told on men. Because it is a romantic comedy for them, because they don't have to do anything. Find a woman light years ahead of them, convince her, also through films like this is part of the indoctrination camp of the patriarchy. Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah, for the dusty man-child. This happens with like a lot of different types of men. You can be a loser with a lot of money. Musk. Because having a baby, bummy man that doesn't appreciate you, that thinks you're the problem because he constantly like complains about her throughout the whole film and she's positioned to be the issue, that ruins your life because she not only has to support him, she has to support the baby because he has no job, he has no ambition, he has no prospects for a job. And this is a reality for a lot of women. Like, this is an indoctrination camp that you've been raised with. You were convinced, oh my god, like, women trap men with babies. It's like, no. Conditioned to think that a man was the prize and having a baby is a win. This is how women get trapped by losers every single day. Something happens to you chemically when you have that man's baby. Not only tied to him logistically, you're tied to him emotionally. Grimes and Musk. She is tied to that abusive loser for the rest of her life. And that's the reality for a lot of women. You start to believe that that love-bombing version of that loser is the real him. Then you start to defend him. It's like something chemically that happens, I swear. And that could be you. Don't do it. Wrap it up. And then wrap it up and get the fuck out.
Let's jump into my favorite part of all of the content I post on YouTube. And that's just my thoughts, where I get to kind of express what I feel about whatever we have read or gone over. So let's get into it. All right, so you saw the TikTok clips, and as they say, men baby trap women. And to really showcase 5 like main points that I want to bring out from this, I want to use a celebrity situation because most of us do follow Celebrity T on TikTok. No, I don't know these people in real life, but this is just from being an observer and then also viewing this through the lens of a relationship coach. So let's break this down. Point number one, a baby often becomes leverage, not proof of love. So how this is demonstrated is case in point. Halle Bailey and DDG welcomed their son Halo in December 2023, publicly presenting him as a blessing and a step towards family. Now this matters because a child can tie you to someone for life, emotionally, financially, and legally, even if their character proves unsafe. As a coach, I have to ask my clients many times, does this person show reliability, consistency? Do they serve in a capacity that is going to help you with parenting this child? When I have the privilege to work with clients who are raising children. And more often than not, that answer is no, and clients can become uncomfortable. So some red flag behaviors that we saw publicly in the Halle Bailey and DDG situation was, I think it was like May 2025. Halle obtained a restraining order against DDG, citing physical, verbal, emotional, and financial abuse, a stark reminder that being a parent does not guarantee safety or commitment. And the reality is he still had not married this young lady. So a coaching tool that I like to implore my clients to use is treat any man that says he wants to have a baby as a serious red flag, unless all other stability and emotional maturity markers and financial stability markers are already in place. A man wants a baby the way a 7-year-old wants a puppy. If he is not coming with commitment in the form of marriage, then he wants to burden you, because men see kids as less of a commitment than marriage. So a man wanting to have a baby with you doesn't mean anything. So really filter for those words when you are out dating and a man who makes any inference of such, because that is a warning and it's a threat. Move accordingly and leave that man alone. So point number two that I think is very important to bring up in this men baby trap women situation is a romantic we want a baby narrative often masks a lot of red flags or instability. You've noticed in probably many of the situations you've seen on TikTok with regular folks, when the women say okay to having a child with a man, it's usually on the back end of something, or the fact that she's gone to another level and he's at the level where they were previously at, not necessarily moving forward. So when Halle and DDG announced Halo's birth, it seemed kind of like a fairy tale origin for the two young creatives, and they were going to really build this beautiful legacy to those who are romantics. But for those of us who are a little bit cynical, we could see the paint peeling off the walls already. The hidden reality was actually that less than a year after their son's birth, the relationship fell apart. By late 2024, DDG publicly announced their split, and then he was posted up, I believe, with the young lady who is a rapper and OF model, Ruby Rose. So he was just doing a lot, and all of that was lip service that he had told Halle. So what this reveals is a baby doesn't fix fundamental issues in a relationship. It often complicates them because you're adding another layer of stress to a chain or to a relationship. It often complicates it. Like I said, coaching clients, I really love to implore to them about be cognizant when somebody is having future talk with you and their present isn't consistent. I need them to see that future talk is what I call it, is just a form of love bombing. It's just a form of future faking. And you really want to see beyond this. Baby talk, very much concerning. Keep your ear out for it. But future talk and future faking. Until life has presented multiple stress scenarios on a couple, a lot of people don't understand what they'd really do. But a pre-warning to how they would probably act is where the relationship is at. If you're constantly fighting, bickering, going back and forth with one another, that is not the time to even entertain the we want a baby narrative. That is the time to very much get clear within yourself about where you're at, where your partner's at, and is this a fruitful relationship to move forward, because a child magnifies instability. It doesn't neutralize it. A third point that people need to really understand, and I think women subconsciously understand it, but a lot of times it's a very uncomfortable thing to admit out loud because you don't want to think that way about your partner, is that parenthood can become a weapon emotionally, legally, publicly, financially, etc. I know many of us have read Reddit stories as well as seen scenarios on social media where a woman is crying and upset because she is in this custody agreement with an ex and he is taking her through hell. He is purposely not doing things that she can't quite complain about, or he's allowing his new girlfriend, wife, whoever to abuse the woman and talk crazy to her and mistreat her. But the woman is just trying to stand strong because of the custody arrangement. Parenthood can be weaponized. So in 2025, Halle filed, like I said, for that restraining order citing alleged abuse. DDG was ordered to stay away from both her and their son. Then DDG allegedly, he used his own online, his public platforms to shame and threaten Halle, using their child in custody as leverage. He was on, I believe it was his Twitch streams. I don't know what his main social media thing is, but I think it's Twitch. And he was basically shaming her for, filing a restraining order, not wanting to be around him, etc., and encouraging the people who consume his content, because he has a sizable platform, to harass her. So he's trying to use public shame and public bullying to get her to quote unquote fall in line. And what this pattern really teaches is that children can be weaponized and parenthood can be weaponized to control, manipulate, or intimidate. Protection of the child's well-being must come before romantic loyalty. And a lot of people need to understand that. One tool that I always teach and work with my clients is called worst case scenario. So, and in having a child with someone, you really need to explore the worst case scenario with someone or about how that partner would react. This is not to scare anyone, but to evaluate realistically whether this man can handle partnership, not just fatherhood on paper. Because like I said, men want kids the way 7-year-olds want puppies. Men want to be fathers. They don't want to be parents. Men want wives. They don't want to be partners. So you have to really take anything a man says with a grain of salt. And you really need to lean in to the behavior that he is demonstrating to see if he can walk his talk. A lot of times those answers will be very uncomfortable. Point number 4, babies don't heal trauma or unstable character. They magnify it. This goes back to my point earlier. So when Halle had this baby, this was like new motherhood under public scrutiny. She was very young, 22, 23 years old. This was her first child. She's not married to this man, so she doesn't have consistent support. They had already gone through some ups and downs with scandals and cheating rumors in the relationship, etc. So Halle kept much of her pregnancy private, even though she was working on major projects. And I think she did that for her own mental health as well. Now, thankfully, she has a sister that's very much in the business, Chloe, that was there and supported her, as much as she could emotionally during that time. Yet soon after the birth of Halo, their relationship, like I said, it dissolved. Serious allegations of abuse arose, meaning Halo's arrival didn't save the problems, it unveiled them. And a baby might bring emotional pressure, but it doesn't heal character flaws. So DDG has a lot of deep-seated character issues that I feel that Halle ignored in order to be with this man. He is very unstable, and honestly, he's famous for not really doing much except being latched onto her. And relying on parenthood for transformation is a dangerous gamble, and it's 99.9% of the time an unsuccessful gamble. So a tool that I use with clients and I'd like you to use is to frame baby, air quotes, as long-term commitment. Ask yourself, if he couldn't honor you as a partner, how will he honor you as a parent? If he's a shitty partner, he's likely to be a shitty parent. Now, that's not always a one-to-one, but why would you take the chance in being a partner to a man who has shown inconsistency and instability in his character as a partner? It's a very unwise choice. And the fifth point, self-worth and boundaries matter more than societal scripts or romantic pressure. So having a baby was definitely a reality check from Halle's story. So despite public expectation and media attention, Halle moved to legally protect herself and her child, showing self-worth and agency over fear or shame. And I'm sure that was very hard to do, especially being as young as she was and partnering with a man that a lot of people told her she needed to leave alone. But she did what she needed to do, and women need to take note of that. And boundaries are crucial because many women are socialized to believe having a baby equals security, love, or making it. But as this case shows, child plus glamour plus public validation does not guarantee safety or longevity. Their relationship was messy before the baby and it was messy after the baby. And then this really needs to become a pillar of the way you date, is to prioritize internal peace, identity, emotional safety, and self-respect over external markers of success, meaning having a baby, social status, public recognition. And that's why we hear these stories on social media all the time of women who from the outside, their life looks perfect, but they're in a very hellish situation with their partner and the kids that they have with the partner, and how they feel they have to stay with them because of that. So a tool that I implore my clients to use is called a boundary assessment. This will help you evaluate, am I choosing motherhood for me and the child, or to save a man I don't trust? So a boundary assessment is something you can apply to a partner in every step of, or in every major conversation that you have with them in a relationship. And parenthood is absolutely one of them. You need to really assess their character against the characteristics you would like in a partner. And these are not physical, okay? Some of them may be more physically driven, such as hygiene or something like that, but they're not actual physical characteristics. They are characteristics, and you need to understand who you choose to have a child with. So I hope these insights helped and you can take something from this. Let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, loves, that's where we're wrapping today's deep dive. If this conversation stirred something in you, clarity, anger, relief, validation, hold on to all of that. Awareness isn't meant to make you afraid of dating. It's meant to make you unavailable for harm. And you deserve to date from a place of sovereignty, not survival. Remember, a baby is not a bond, not a leash, not a life sentence, and definitely not a strategy a healthy man uses to keep you close. Your future, your body, your motherhood, your purpose, they all belong to you and only you. If you want to keep unpacking some of these patterns, learning how to protect your emotional world, and building real dating discernment with a community of smart, intentional women doing the same work, then click on the links below and come join me in my exclusive coaching community on Coffee. That's where we go deeper, get personal, and you get personalized exercises to do the work that actually transforms your relationships. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe, share, etc. Or let me know, what you want me to break down next. I'll see you in the next one. Beautiful. Stay grounded, stay discerning, and stay in your power.